Hi there, welcome to Practical Piano. My name is Tia. I've been playing piano for 20 years and teaching for 10. And this is the start of a new practice session series. If you're new here, a practice session is where I sit down and play for the amount of time that I have available. And as I play, as I practice, I don't edit out any of the practice. I do stop when I think about anything that might be helpful for you as a pianist, and I give you advice based on what comes to mind when I'm practicing. Since our last practice session series, I have moved on from working on level 9. I didn't actually take the level 9 exam, and this is something that might be helpful for you, is you don't necessarily have to take the exam you're prepping for. It does take an extra maybe 6 months to go from, okay, I know these songs pretty well, to these songs are exam ready. 3 to 6 months depending on the level that you're working on. So something you might want to do, if you want to save time, if you want to save money, but you're not really ready for the level you want to go to. I want to take my level 10, and I looked at my level 10 after I'd finished my level 8, and I went, there is no way I'm able to do that. So I started working on level 9. Now I've worked on level 9 and it's time to move on to level 10. I don't actually need to take that exam to feel better playing this music, and my skills are refined enough now that I can more easily tackle level 10. So that is something you might want to consider. If you just finished level 2 and you're looking at level 4 or 5 because you want to skip ahead and you're like, yeah, I want to skip ahead, but I don't know that I can play these songs. Take some time in a level 3 book. Take some time in a level 4 book. And maybe don't get those songs exam ready, but get pretty good at them. And then start prepping for your level 5. All right. I forgot to set a timer, so we're going to do that first. Now, if you want to know why I set a timer, the reason is to improve my focus and to improve my practice. And if you want to know more about improving your practice and your focus, check out this video. I'll link in the iCards in the description. So I have selected all of my level 10 songs, and I have the music printed out, except for Bach, which I actually already had a book for. And I have put all the music inside a duotang, inside sheet protectors, so that the sheets don't get damaged, and so it's easy to carry around. And it's very light, and I highly recommend this if you are very mobile and you have to go from place to place very frequently. I go back and forth from home and work, and it's just easier for me to have all of my music in one item instead of 3 or 4 heavy books that I have to carry around. So if you're finding you have to carry a lot of stuff around in your piano practice, do yourself a favor, print it all off and put it in a duotang or a binder so that you have one much lighter object to carry around. And I just happen to have one Bach book here and one at home, and they both have the same song in them. So I didn't have to worry about printing that off. But if I didn't have a duplicate, I would have gone and printed off the song so that I could all carry it around in one item. Now, I've already done some practice on each of these songs, and I'm going to start with Grande Valse, Brilliante by Chopin, because I am currently liking this piece the least. Because it's really hard. And so I do it pretty early into practice so that I can finish off my practice with a song that I enjoy a little more. Definitely recommend that if you have a song for your examination that is maybe not your favorite or is very challenging and you don't want to leave that as the last taste in your mouth from your practice. Now, because it's so difficult to play this song, it's very challenging on my hands. It's very stretchy. I have octaves with things in the middle to play, and I have to stretch my hand quite far, and it creates a strain in my fingers. So what I'll do to help myself out so that I don't injure myself is I'll play some scales and maybe some chords. And I definitely recommend a warm-up. I noticed a huge difference between when I practiced with a warm-up and when I practiced without a warm-up while I was doing the last practice session series. And I used to think a warm-up wasn't important. Turns out it is extremely important. Okay, let's get started here. Let's start with G flat major scale. That's not correct. Something that's really handy when you're doing a scale that uses all of the black keys is not to pay attention to which black keys you need to use, because you are using all of them. That's actually easier to keep track of. What you want to do is keep track of which white keys to use. And so in G flat major, I'm using B natural and F natural. And I'm saying B natural. Technically in G flat major, I'm using C flat, which is also a B natural. And I think it's okay to think of things that way. If it's easier for me to think of B natural, that's what I'm going to think, even though it's technically not correct. All right. Let's try that again. All right, I felt my left hand down, slipping a bit on the white keys, not pressing them all the way down. So we'll do that again. Nice. Now you'll notice I stopped in the middle on the way up, and that was because I wasn't sure what was coming next. It's very important as you're practicing. You will get much better results if you stop and double check and you pick out the right note, instead of pressing through and hoping that you hit the right one. Every time that you play the wrong note, you're training yourself to play the wrong note. So take your time, take the extra hesitation, the extra time, and find the correct note. Good. G major. A flat major. This one is harder for me, so I have to think for a second about what I'm going to play and which fingers I'm going to use. And if I think ahead of time, that will help me. And let's do that again. One more time. Now, because this one has been difficult for me a few times, I'm going to practice it a little extra. Much better. A major. G flat major, now the problem there was I did a couple of crossovers wrong in either hand. So when I was supposed to cross on the way down with a 3 onto E flat, I ended up crossing with a 4. Then I had to adjust, and I almost went to cross a 3 on the B flat, but I needed to put a 4 on the B flat. One of the most important things about playing your scales is that you need to get your fingering right. And it doesn't have to be like right by the book. It has to be consistent. You always play it the exact same way. So once you find the fingering that works for you for a scale, always play it the exact same way. That way your brain, when it goes to play that scale, in the most stressful time it could play it, in an exam, it's going to reach for the most commonly used pathway. And if you have consistently played the scale with the exact same fingering 200 times, and you've only done like maybe 5 times wrong, chances are it's going to take that 200 time pathway. But if you play a scale like 200 times and 50 to 100 of those times were wrong, then you're dealing with much worse odds. There's about a 25 to 50% chance that you're not going to play the right thing at your exam. And when you make a mistake in an exam, unless you have really good stress management, one mistake will generally throw you off, and then you'll start feeling shaky, and it kind of devolves from there. Not to say that you can't make any mistakes in an exam, but as much as possible, set yourself up for success by being consistent. Much better. And B major. I have to think about this one as well. Nice. And then this is another all black keys scale, and I have to think of, I'm using B and I'm using E as the white keys. See, I made a mistake up here with the fingers. I went over to my 1 instead of playing with my pinky, and that threw off my fingering on the way down. So that's what I mean. When you make one mistake, it sets you up to make other mistakes. Good. That had a couple mistakes, but we're going to let it go. The harder thing to do in this level is my scale separated by a 3rd and a 6th. And I haven't practiced the one separated by a 6th yet, but I'm going to practice the one separated by a 3rd because that's what I'm working on. So G flat major separated by a 3rd. And what that means is my first 3 notes in G flat are G flat, A flat, and B flat. So in my left hand, I'm going to start on G flat. In my right hand, I'm going to start on B flat, because that's the 3rd note. And I have to play both my hands at the same time doing the same scale, but starting on different notes. It's very tricky. I think I have to go up to here. I went too many octaves. Let's try from here. 1. Okay, this is the tricky part about G flat, is remembering what the crossovers are. It's actually not the tricky part of G flat. It's the tricky part of the scales separated by a third, is remembering when to cross in which hand. B, there we go, I returned to the right octave this time. We'll do this one more time. That was good enough. Let's do G major. So G major. Okay. That was wrong fingering in the right hand. Let's try again. As you can see, I've practiced the G flat major, but I haven't really practiced the G major. I've played it maybe once. No, my fingering when I play G, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. I'm finding when I play my scales separated by a third, I need to stick to the same fingering I would use if I wasn't playing them separated by a third. So if I play G major in my right hand, I go 1, 2, 3 on the B. Then I cross, I tuck my thumb under to go to C. And so when I play separated by a third, I'm going to start not with my 1 on B, which is what I want to start with. I'm going to start with my 3 on B, because when I play a normal G major scale, that's what the fingering I'll be using. So I'm going to play a G major scale starting on B with the fingering I would normally use if I started on G. So normally I would go G with 1, A with 2, B with 3. 3 is where I'm going to start. And I'm actually going to go up to B, which I almost forgot to do. And that's where I stop, is on B. Even though I want to go down to the G. Can't do that. Okay, let's play it one more time. That is not the fingering I would use. Be natural. There we go. When you have to play with your hands overlapping, move one in the back and one in the front. Like this, if you could see it. Okay, that's enough for a warm-up. Grand Valse. Whoops. So, as I'm playing, you'll notice I stop a lot. One of the biggest mistakes student pianists often make is pushing through, rushing to get to the next note so that they can stay on time. It is a way to practice, but it's not the way I recommend. I find the best progress is made when you slow down and you double check what comes next. And the reason for that is because, as I explained earlier with the scales, if you play it 200 times, that is what you've trained yourself to do. So if you've played it 200 good times and a handful of bad times, no problem. But if you consistently play it, sometimes right, sometimes wrong, you're actually training yourself to do the wrong thing. Ultimately, whatever you practice, you are training your brain to play that way. Whatever you repeat, you learn. So we always want to learn it right from the start. The time to put pressure on yourself to get to the next note faster is later, after you've already established this foundation where you're playing exactly the notes that you need and you're waiting until you find them to play them. When you have that foundation established, then you can push yourself to go faster because you already know what the right thing is to play. The mistake is pushing yourself to go faster when you're not sure what the right thing is to play. So there is a purpose to pushing to go faster. And don't do it until you're generally correct with what you have. I'm going to play that section a few times because it's very difficult to find all these notes at once. Oh, there's pedal here as well. Well, we're not going to pedal until I know the notes. Okay, 4 more. Three more. Two more. Too fast. One more. Actually, we'll do 2 more because that last one wasn't very good. One more. There we go. If you want to make fast practice at a section, play it 5 to 10 times. Progress. If you want to make fast progress on a section, play it 5 to 10 times. Next section. Let's do that part 4 more times. Then we'll move on to another song. Three more. Nice. 2 more. That was not correct. We're going to use B flats in the right hand. I forget how many, so we're going to do 1 more. There we go. That is the most uncomfortable chord, but it's okay. When you have very uncomfortable, stretchy chords, practice them a little bit at a time. Don't strain your hands trying to get them perfect all in one session. Your body needs time to build and repair the muscles that you're stretching. So just do a little bit at once. This is just like a workout. You wouldn't start a workout with 100 reps of a new exercise. You would start a workout with 5 slow reps and get used to doing that thing because your body has to acclimate. It does not build structure overnight. So as you're practicing, take your time. Now we don't have very much time, and yesterday I practiced Rialto ripples, which I really like. But we're not going to practice Rialto ripples today because I already practiced it yesterday. I also like a new Hidin place, so that's what we're going to end with. 1, 2, 3, and we have sharps in this one, not flats. 2, 3, 4, and here's a big tip I'll show you what this music looks like. Now, when you have long notes and then you have a couple of short notes, what you want to do as you get ready to play those short notes is mentally prepare to play both. So I have to play this one and then immediately this one. So when I go to prepare for this one, I'm not only setting up for this one. If I only set up for this one, then I have to think about what comes next, which will take too long because these are short notes. So I'm going to think about both. I'm going to go from here to here. And once I'm prepared to do that mentally, then I'll play, no matter how long it takes me to set up for both of those. So let's play from the start again. I'm at the point in my practice where I can prepare all three notes. So I can go from here to here to here really, really fast. As you do it, if you can't prepare for three, prepare for two. Get really good at that. Once you're really good at preparing for two, then prepare for the third. Okay. Play this section again because it was not as good as the first section. Whoops. That's an example of what I said earlier. If you can't prepare for all three, prepare for the first two. I can't get the third one in that section on time, but I'm getting the first two, and that's a good enough start. Let's play it one more time. It's almost time to go. Lovely. I really like this song. All right, thank you for joining me for this practice session. I hope that you have found it useful. Unlike the last practice session series, I'm not recording every single time I practiced, which is what I was doing then. It was partly to hold myself accountable. Right now I'm very interested in practice, and so I'm going to practice whenever I have the time, even if it's not a good time to record. The benefit to that is that in between practices, I'll be able to think of more things to share with you. So that hopefully the advice I give in this practice series will be more succinct, and I can actually spend more time giving you advice because I'm getting my practice in at other times. Alright, if you like the video, please like it. If you know anyone else who would also like to listen to another pianist play piano, share it with them. If you'd like to tell me how your practice is going, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. And if you would like more, subscribe.